On pages 6 and 7 of the training manual, you will notice that there are several dispositions that we look for when asking people to serve in the camping ministries. But there are also things that we look for throughout the camping ministries experience, and I want to cover them very quickly. The first is character. To keep our integrity, the motives, attitude, and actions of our staff should be completely transparent to any observer. Our honesty should be testable by Luke 16:10 through 12. We should be faithful in the little things. We should be faithful in money, and we should be faithful to that which belongs to another. And this simply goes to the very heart of what we believe that you have and expect to see in you throughout your ministry of camp or Winterfest, and that you have deep character, that you have a rooted foundation in truthfulness and care for each other. We expect that you are emotionally mature and that you will be emotionally mature. You may experience some things throughout camp or Winterfest that test your patience or maybe that even anger you. But we ask of you to be the emotionally mature one in that situation, to calm yourself, go back to your room and vent by yourself, or keep it contained until after Winterfest. Come and talk to me, go and talk to another leader, but don't let that out in front of the campers. You need to set the example for what they should be. You should be adaptable. Camp and Winterfest are constantly changing. We do our best to plan things down to every last detail, but inevitably something happens along the way where we have to call an audible. Something has to be changed. The worship set is different. The sanctuary needs to be rearranged. One year the sanctuary caught fire at camp while we were in the middle of our altar call. So things change at a rapid pace, and we expect that you'll jump right in and be adaptable for those things. Discipline self and follows rules, both written and unwritten. And this really goes back to the chain of command. Now, if you are at camp, your chain of command is, if you're a cabin leader, you go directly to your dean. The dean goes to the camp director goes to the coordinators. And it's kind of the same process at Winterfest. If something happens, you go to the dean. The dean will come to myself, and if it's something that needs to be shared with the coordinators, I will take that to them. Under no circumstances should you need to go directly to the coordinators. They have so many things that they have to deal with during Winterfest and camp that there are a lot of things that can be handled by either the dean or by the director of the camp that you are serving in. So it's very important for you to remain true to those chain of commands. Number 5 is that you have a servant's heart. Now, I believe that's attestable to the fact that you're watching these videos, because if you didn't have a servant's heart, you wouldn't want to be at Winterfest, you wouldn't want to be at camp. And so I appreciate and thank you for that servant's heart, and I expect that you will continue to show that as we move forward in these ministries. Confidentiality. Does not break confidentiality among the leaders. Now, there are some things that are shared among leaders that the campers don't need to know about. There are some things that are shared between leaders that other leaders in the campground don't need to know about. And this kind of goes back to the chain of command as well. If something happens, your first stop is not the 3 cabin leaders that are closest to you. It's not the 3 leaders that are closest to you. Your first stop, and your only stop really, is the dean. And the dean will take things from there. You don't need to share crises or things that have happened with people that don't need to know, especially the campers. So we expect that there will be confidentiality throughout the ministry experience. We expect that you will be teachable. None of us must claim to have arrived at infallibility. There are always moments to grow and to keep raising our bar of leadership. I love the motto of Lowe's that says, never stop improving. And that's really the heart that we have to have when we walk into any ministry context. That God may reveal something to us throughout that experience to teach us and mold us into something that we can do better. You must show Christian conduct. It simply says, show Christian conduct in every situation. And this really just goes back to the fruit of the Spirit. Have patience, be loving, be kind, be caring, seek to serve others before yourself. And everything kind of works itself out when we enter into a context with that in mind, to kind of have that Christian context, to serve within the scope of the gifts of the Spirit and the fruit of the Spirit. Everything else kind of works itself out.